This is All India Radio.
With 75 years of independence, the country has a greater sense of confidence and optimism in articulating an India-first foreign policy. India decides for itself, and its independent foreign policy cannot be subject to intimidations. The COVID pandemic has brought out the risks of the over-centralized model of globalization that was being followed. Consequently, it has encouraged the building of reliable and resilient supply chains. India's message is one of engaging the world intensively, obviously drawing benefits for our own people, but while also contributing in greater measure to global welfare, development and security. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that Indian foreign policy thinking is displaying greater conceptual and operational clarity.
I hope that you also share my belief that Indian foreign policy thinking is displaying greater conceptual and operational clarity. Whether it is explanation or communication, some of the contemporary catchphrases have been impactful in their public resonance. If you consider neighborhood first, for example, it is now clearly associated with a generous and non-reciprocal approach to our immediate proximity. We envisage India as a larger lifting tide for the entire region. Our investments in connectivity, expansion of contacts, and promotion of cooperation have also been noteworthy.
Since 1992, Indian foreign policy became more robust and business-oriented. Full diplomatic ties with Israel were established in 1992. Since 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has laid out his vision of Indian diplomacy. Stress has been given on Neighborhood First, Act East, Indo-US, G20, G7, India-Russia, SCO, BRICS, ASEAN Plus, I2U2 and 2+2 framework with US and Japan. In recent decades, India has pursued a more expansive foreign policy that encompasses the neighborhood-first policy embodied by SARC as well as the Look East policy to forge more extensive economic and strategic relationships with other East Asian countries. Whether it was during the COVID-19 pandemic or the economic challenges, India has gone the extra mile for its neighbors and will continue to do so. Its awareness for extended neighborhood has been expressed as an Act East policy, a Sagar outlook, a Gulf engagement, and a Central Asia initiative. India's diplomacy has also naturally focused on major powers, on key economic hubs, on significant energy sources, and on influential regional players. With open-mindedness and objectivity, the country has been practicing the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas in its foreign policy. India has always viewed the United Nations as important to global peace, security and development. It currently serves as a non-permanent member of the Security Council and one very active in UN organizations and in its peacekeeping. From the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, the Quad, to the BRICS, there is a long list of memberships that India holds. India advocates a global debate and global consensus on issues of global dimensions such as world trade regime, intellectual property rights, climate change and terrorism. New Delhi has adopted a firm policy of terror and talks cannot go together, and despite repeated calls from Pakistan for the resumption of dialogue, it has made it abundantly clear that no departure will be made unless there are tangible and verifiable concrete evidence of Pakistan reining in the state-sponsored and supported terrorism targeted against India. The country's foreign policy has at least 4 important goals. First, to protect India from traditional and non-traditional threats. Second, to create an external environment which is conducive for an inclusive development of India, so that the benefits of growth can reach the poorest of the poor in the country. Third, to ensure that India's voice is heard on global forums and that India is able to influence world opinion on issues of global dimensions. And fourth, to engage and protect the Indian diaspora. Today's self-confident India has a new voice in the global firmament, rooted in its domestic realities and civilizational ethos, as well as firm in the pursuit of its vital interests.